few more, there will be 3 or 4 or 5 more. But I do want to say thank you to them because they have really kind of gone down for us to be back on the stage. I think I will answer your question, but I think I would also say, first, membership, that most of this change was not unexpected. Most of this change was in fact planned and understood, given the mandate that I was given to the board of directors was to transform. And so, where possible, we have encouraged and really tried to do everything we can to kind of hang on to the talent we have, but also taking the time to bring in some newer folks. So I think your question relative to hanging on to history is really a good one. I think there are two or three answers. I think, first of all, we've leaned heavily on the teammates that remain. Second, we've been going to introduce several of those key teammates. And then most of them we've introduced to the chapter and made sure that they're having some dialogue with the chapters about their area of business. And so I think those are the 3 ways that I can answer that question best. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Henry.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we do have another question. We have another question from the audience.
Okay.
In light of the expanded diverse participation of our association, what is the National Black MBA Association doing to welcome our ethnically diverse members and students without losing the authenticity of our African American members and students?
Sure. So what we have noticed is primarily where we see the ethnic diversity amongst the membership is this week every year. Primarily shows up at conference. My individual observation this year was that it was down from last year. And there are a couple of things that we did to not necessarily discourage anyone who wanted to attend, but to maybe raise the bar just a little bit, was you all may have noticed we did away with monthly paid membership. It's actually one of the first decisions that I made when I became CEO. I believe it was on day 2, was we did away with monthly memberships. And so one of the things that we were seeing as an association, and it was unanimous amongst the management team when I arrived, was what we were noticing was a sharp uptick in membership a month or 2 before conference, and a sharp request for refunds a month after.
Wow.
And so, what that was telling us, of course, not only was it causing a accounting headache, but it also was telling us that there were folks who were exploiting membership in the association just to take advantage of conference.
Yes.
And so we made that change, and I dare say that has been effective. The other thing that I would mention there is that one of the things that we are evaluating as we move into next year is doing subject matter specific or regional summits. There will be smaller gatherings for members and non-members, but it would be specific to a subject or, again, or a region. And what we think that will happen in that instance is that there will be less incentive and less university support for busing in large numbers of folks to take advantage of a structured career expo, but instead we would have, again, industry-specific dialogue with employers that would draw members and folks who really want to be members to participate in those programs because of their disciplinary expertise. And we think that that will not only grow the association, but also encourage us to stay a little bit, or enable us to be able to stay a little bit truer to our name and our mission. So thank you all for those couple of questions. We're going to keep going, and we'll do a couple of questions between each section of the management report, and then, as Leslie mentioned, we'll take questions. Okay, so it is with great pleasure that I take the opportunity to introduce Ms. Renee Horn, who is Chief Customer Experience Officer for Chase Auto. She has already done a costume change, but Well, let's give a big round of applause to Barry.
Thank you. Sounds of Blackness. I thought it was perfect and quite relevant to where we are and this great membership. So I'll just say a few words and then I will turn it over to Marshall, our VP of Finance, and our audit team. So I am privileged to serve as treasurer. I was elected into the role this past election, and I've been in the role for the past 8 or 9 months. My role, just so we are all aligned, is to provide oversight of the financial health and strength of the organization. My role is not to run the finances of the organization. There is a delineation, but I don't do it alone. We have a committee, and on that committee are several board members, and we've had a couple of individuals serve as committee members as well. And joining me as co-chair of the finance committee is John Walls, who is a longstanding member of the finance committee and runs a financial practice outside of the work he does for the association. And I want to thank again for Stuart, our immediate past treasurer, who left us in a really good place. So thank you, Morris. So, couple thoughts regarding oversight. Number one, when I look at the balance sheet, the association is solid. We have positive net assets in a few millions and all of that, and I know the team will publish that, but I just want to reinforce the association is solid. And we have some tailwinds from the momentum over the many, many years and the great work that the leadership team has done in terms of continuing to maintain great interest and engagement with the membership. And we also have headwinds. And so that is where we spend a lot of our time with the committee and of course on the board discussing and having transparency around the things we face, the need to diversify revenues, and a host of other items related to cash flows, receivables, payables, et cetera. So we're paying very close attention in that regard. With that said, I'll leave you with this. I'd say that aside from our role as oversight, collectively, all of us, I see all of us, including the membership, chapters, presidents, et cetera, as a team collectively that represent this brand. And we have to work together as a team to find and solve for those headwinds to ensure that we have mutually beneficial revenue streams, mutually beneficial operating models, mutually beneficial programming that benefits not just national, not just our chapters, but also benefits our partners and host of other stakeholders. So I'll leave it there and just say that this is purpose-driven work. I'm privileged and honored to be a part of it, and you have my commitment to do the things that I should do as oversight and fiduciary responsibility of the finances. So I'll turn it over Marshall and our auditor team, which is an independent audit, by the way. Thank you.
Good afternoon, membership. I am Marshall, although I'm one of the newest faces. I have just joined the organization a few months ago, and it's been an honor to serve under the leadership of Renee as the finance committee chair, Rick Hicks, as our president and CEO. One of the first things we want to share with you today is the results of our 2023 audit. We engaged a new audit firm this year, local to the Baltimore, Maryland area, SP & Company. And because of their proximity, we're pleased to have the audit partner join us today. So please help me welcome to the stage, Stephen McCall.
Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate you all taking the time to have me here this afternoon. Won't be very long. As Marshall mentioned, my name is Matt Ball, partner with SP So I did make the long trip from Baltimore. We are located in Baltimore, the area. We are one of the largest minority owned CPA firms in the region. So, happy to be a part of the team to be able to provide audit. We did have the opportunity to present in detail results of the audit, both the financial as well of that audit report here with you all this afternoon. So here you'll see the summary. So we were engaged to perform the audit of the plan budget February 90. And as you see here on the results, so we do plan to issue unmodified statements with that means that those are financial statements. That is the best under accounting standards. We didn't have any material weaknesses. We can go through a process where we look at the internal controls, both at the government level as well as the organization. No issues there that we need to speak to the board or the management. We did not identify any fraud. We did not compare the fraud. Again, we don't perform fraud audit if we're identified and we did receive full cooperation of the audit process. So all positive. Won't spend a lot of time on the numbers, right? These are all very numbers that Marshall will present numbers, so won't spend a lot of time here. But as already been mentioned, the organization is very strong with an asset $7 million in assets at the end of 2023, right? With that net assets is about right, so those are the net assets that are available, for us to put on forward. And on the income statement side, here you do see it. So the organization has done well. It's increased, but you'll see that increase in revenue there in 23. And of course, I think if you put on programming, right, and have conferences, you would expect to see some of those increase as well. At the end of the year, you do see a slight increase in net assets, or net loss for the year as well. But again, right, the organization is strong. Right, we did not have any concern, but we saw or that we believe that naturally, again, appreciate the opportunity. Again, as I mentioned, we did present available for the finance committee. And I'm sure, right, and you all to do the conference, right, you have to offer, again, appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Stephen. We look forward to building the relationship. And just a point of personal privilege, I want to thank my team, our representative who faced on that screen as well. Just happened to hire over the last few months. So thank you for Lane, thank you for Wanda, Michelle. So with that, I'm going to advance our 23 numbers, 24, and share with you a mid-year update. So these are numbers through June of 2024. And we'll start with a update on revenue and expenses. So through June, actual revenue total $7.7 million, $8.9 million budget, representing there the shortfall of $1.2 million. You see two of the biggest drivers on the corporate revenue side, and the biggest category within that is exhibit revenue. So while we all enjoyed a great, robust exhibit store, we did see some softness as it relates to our budget numbers there. And the other drivers, other revenue, $320,000. This is related to a PRC claim that we submitted. Those funds have not been received, and I think a lot of us who are familiar with that space understand volume that IRS is dealing with, some fraud that's objected there, and a little bit more to come on that. On the expense side, we are pacing pretty well. $5 million year to date is $5.1 million budget. So savings with positive variance of a little over $90,000. To the bottom line, $2.7 million against $3.8 million budget for the bottom line, and that shortfall stands at just the 1.1. All right, so where are we projecting to finish the year? We do think we can make up a portion of that revenue, so you'll see that shortfall shrink on the revenue line. We're also taking a deeper look at expenses, so you see a deeper savings number represented there on the bottom line. And that shortfall of $1.1 million, down to 683, as of the current forecast. We do look at this as a first iteration. We have some deep dive work that we know we're going to get into at the conference, and so we think future iterations are going to be even better than what we see here. How are we going to do it? So first, corporate sponsored events outside of conference. So one of which you probably have seen if you've attended any of our sessions, that is in the fourth quarter next month, back in Atlanta, an event called I'm Not Yellow. And we're excited about that. That's one of the examples. Stepping up philanthropic fundraising. So Keon and her team are heading this up. We're excited to see the development that will come from that. We'll get to her later. Increased membership pricing. So as of September 1st, membership pricing increased. So if you renewed prior to that, I'm fine. If you did not, I think with the life cycle program that Tina and her team put together, I think you're going to still look at that and say it's worth it. Passing event fees on to consumers. So not dissimilar to other ticketed platforms, such as Eventbrite and others. That is an area we think we'll see a benefit to the organization. And then regarding that ERC, we want to peel the layers back, even though sometimes the IRS is a big kind of cloud, and try to get an understanding of where we are in the queue, so we can plan for that revenue. We'll note that in the forecast, I did not count that 320,000 is coming in because of the uncertainty of that timing. But if it does come in, it will improve that bottom line. And then finally, restricting travel in the fourth quarter is just an example of what we tend to dive into after comments in terms of what we think we can save, a lot of expenses, and have an impact on where we hope we will finish. So lastly, our financial position on the balance sheet stood at $7.1 million against $8.5 million at the end of 2023. And one of the biggest changes you see there is on the capital receivable line at $1.8 million. It's $2.8 million last year. And that kind of follows the revenue story we talked about shortfall here on the asset side, and on the liabilities and net asset side, the sharpest decline is on deferred revenue, also tied to that. So we know we got some work to do to finish the year as strong as possible, but we know the team is ready for that work at the time. So with that, please help me welcome back to the stage our President and CEO, H. Beecher. Pose it to group with any questions.
Thank you, Marshall. Please give up. Okay, it is my pleasure to share a little bit more with you all. I referenced earlier that we have adopted a strategic plan just earlier this week, so it's my pleasure to share a little bit more with you about that. So one of the things that we undertook as we went through that process was a revision to the mission statement. First of all, let me point out before we get into that, the process of developing the strategic plan was, let's just say, thorough. We started with doing some value proposition market research. Many of you may have been queried about that. Remember, we have a chapter, we have a legacy leader, we have a board, we have a staff, trying to understand not only where we are, not only where we need to go, where we need to improve, and what our opportunities are to accelerate. Trying to understand those things. Then we wrapped all those things together, plan to do that, and had quite robust discussions to land on eventually. So one of the parts of that, again, as I mentioned, is a revision to the mission statement. And so effective this week, the new mission statement for the association is that the National Black MBA Association advances underrepresented professionals by providing unparalleled access to career development, economic empowerment, and educational opportunity. We champion diversity, equity, and inclusion, leveraging our networks, resources, and power to drive systemic change. So we're excited about this new mission statement. You'll notice we are leading directly into diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that's something we hope you all are awesome. Give that a little bit. All right, so next slide, please. We also took the opportunity to utilize the mission statement. And so, effective this week, the new mission statement for the association is that the National Black GPA Association is the leading local catalyst for Black career advancement and economic power. I am the son of a preacher. Y'all know how I go. You talk to me, I talk to you. Get out of here. Help me out. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. Next slide, please. So, as a part of that, we wanted to really look at, we talked about this life cycle value proposition. And as a part of that market research, understand what it is that you, the members, want. One of the things that we came to understand is that maybe the pillars could be tweaked a little bit. So we have updated our leadership development pillars. All of the work, all of the programming work that we'll do will be considered leadership development. We wanted to update the pillars to be education, career, wealth, policy, and wellness. So some might ask me, where's entrepreneurship? From our perspective, it is as important, if not more important, than it ever has been. Entrepreneurship is about education. Entrepreneurship is about career. Entrepreneurship is about wealth. Entrepreneurship is about policy, and certainly about wealth. So entrepreneurship remains a foundational element, and you'll see that as Dr. Dan comes up just a little bit later to talk about where we're going with our leadership development initiative. Next slide. So one of the things that we did, we've identified 4 objectives that we will pursue as the management team over the next 5 years. The planning period that we adopted was from the rest of 2024 through 2029. And so there are 4 objectives that we'll adopt. The first is creating an organization that is durable, stable, growing. So think about things like human resources, and financial capital, and IT systems. How happy and satisfied are employees? How strong are the relationships between the membership and the chapters of the National Association, and the National Association Board of Revenue? All that contributes to durability and stability, as well as can propel us towards growth. The second is to create, again, y'all heard this before, these things start to repeat themselves. Create a life cycle value proposition for key stakeholders. We clearly understand that our membership is made up of folks from high school to retiree. The interests are different. And they run across those 5 pillars. So you'll see the programming, again, that Dr. Tan lays out, match both our membership demographics as well as the pillars. And you won't have it all baked today, but as we begin to move forward, you'll see some of those boxes fill out on that grid. So we're working to create a life cycle value proposition. The third is tell our story better. We have at least 12,000 members. All of you are doing amazing work individually, in your corporations, your families, your communities. Each of the chapters and chapter leaders are doing incredible work in communities where we work and do business and serve. And we need to talk about that. Those are the stories that we should be telling. And in addition to that, we should talk about the policy work. So we've heard about the white paper releasing later this year. We should be talking about this conference, how people came to pour into us this week. We should be talking about the 54 years of history that we have behind us and where we're going in the future. We should be communicating, not just amongst ourselves, and not just on social media. We should be participating in television. We should be drafting and placing op-eds so that the name and the value of the brand and the membership of the National Black MBA Association grows and grows. So that's what we mean when we say we want to tell our story. And then finally, I am really pleased to share with you all that the team will tell you that I have an idea about every 15 minutes. And so it was quite a surprise when I took the draft of the strategic plan to the board, and their response was, it ain't aggressive enough. So I said, bet. He said, that's what a word. So we added a fourth objective to the final draft of the plan, and that is to evaluate strategic alternatives. And we all know that 2 times 5 is not equal to 25. But what we want to do is double the organization, that's 2x, over 5 years to achieve at least $25 million in revenue with a 10% target. So that's what we're going to be working. How exactly we'll do that, we're not quite sure. And that is the beauty of it. That's the excitement. This is not fully baked. But we will identify some help, talk with you, we'll talk with membership, we'll be moving around in the market. We'll be listening to see and hear opportunities where we can step in and helpful to the membership to advance our mission, grow the organization in a profitable way. Next slide. All right. Are there any questions about the plan? Yes, ma'am. Please. So, are there any in the? Okay. So we'll do them from here first, and that. Okay, I'll take 1 or 2 here, and then we'll move it. Yes.
At this time, we have questions for QR codes.
Okay.
I've heard the National Black use of this name. Can you expand upon this? How should
Sure. So this is a tricky question, except for when we walk off the conference this week, what we hear is people referring to, even listen to the stages this week, what we hear is people refer to the organization as National Black. And so one of the ways that Harold and I, our Vice President of Brand, began to talk about this is that National Black is a product. It is a product. Just a minute. Yes, ma'am. So the product is the conference. The conference is a product. Conference is something that we sell. And consumers refer to our conference often as National Black. It is not the name of the association. It is not the name of brand under which we do all of our work. But it is the name of, it is the brand that we use on. So that is how I would answer the question, is that, and this is what we continue to do. One of the things that we'll be doing as part of telling our story better is developing and adopting brand standards, including the way that we communicate and talk about our products and our product line that we offer.
At this time, we have additional questions in the QR code.
So I'm happy to, I'm happy.
Yes.
We're going to do some brand work and some brand study as part of telling our story better. So that's the work that Harold and I have done. Our co-read, our Vice President of Brand, and tasked with happy to discuss that further. Yes, Ron.
Hi, at this time, we have 19 questions in the QR code. We do ask that those audience members please hold or put your questions in the QR code so we can get to those persons in the queue. The next question is, what can we do, or what are we doing as an organization to make sure that we have a voice in the community on decision making? How can we be a force or voice that is respected where politicians come for ideas and endorsement, and why were they not at conference considering we're in an election year?
Yes. So once again, the first step is that we've adopted as one of our pillars the policy. And then the second step is we have already, again, under one of our product lines, we policy. So the brand name there is Black Tech. This year at conference, we did a session, a Black Faith session. That was on the state of Black professionals. And we retained the services of a think tank who does this kind of academic research to help us draft a white paper that will be released in November on the subject, the state of Black professionals. A fast follow on that will be a white paper on bridging the wealth gap. So as we move forward, we will determine a cadence for having Black faith events and conversations. But white papers and that kind of writing will be part of it and distributed to the public. In addition to that, so the second part of the question is why were more policymakers here at conference? What I will say about that is that there were some who were a part of a few of the panels during conference. And there were some relatively senior administration folks who were here participated in the conference. We also had the head of the president's office on public engagement was a speaker at the CEO reception on Wednesday afternoon. And we did extend some invitations to other political figures who were not able to attend. A part of the thing that we've got to work through here, we've got to be careful about, we are a 501c3, we are not a 501c4. So one of the things we have to be careful about unless or until we determine to establish a 501c4 or some lobbying or politically oriented organization, policy does not and cannot necessarily mean politics. And so we've got to be very careful with our tax status not being in a particular direction or another as an organization. Visually, we certainly want you to lead, but as an organization, we've got to stay right now. I'll take one more question from the QR code. I'll take one more question from the microphone and then questions at the end.
Okay, so with the pillars,
so are we going to touch entrepreneurship where it actually talks about entrepreneurship, not literacy, but actually innovation of entrepreneurship, business development? Because leadership development doesn't really touch entrepreneurship as a trying to figure out where I'm supposed to.
The answer is yes. And Dr. Kano talked a bit more about that. Thank you all very much for that. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Kiana Cornish, who is our Chief Development Officer, to give us an advancement in development.
good to be in front of you again, and some of you. And I'm just really excited. It's my first. I will like to give a nod to Henry because Henry is a true visionary who really saw the future of what this association is. And in that, he thought, you know what? We are great. We have a great brand. We have a legacy over conference. We've been doing this for 46 years annually, but there is this association in terms of proper strategy. So that's how I got here. He looked at this and he was like, we can do it more. Really started to get a lot of national grants, the lead grant of grant strategy throughout the association. And so my position. This year at conference, I hope you saw some big. There is a big conference giving plan that we're going to work on. And that was the very first video you saw at any time. No one. There's also QR codes throughout conference. That's a great direct thing to give. And then we have our text to give platforms. Many of you received that throughout. getting things from Kamala, us, and a lot. We really appreciate those who gave. We did get donations throughout conference. I want to thank those supporters. We still have a goal. It's not yet. There's plenty of hours left to give. And I will tell you, my soror, Paula, she gave that call to give at the Jacob Dunn section. Get up on that stage and tell a story about that little team. Get to hear my other soror reader in the archery really organization. Get up on this. There is tremendous work that the association has been doing for us. And it's been affirming Black professionals. So we encourage you to still give. A lot of us don't leave out till small tomorrow. A lot of us can still give on Sunday to and next week. Because, year end, when the books close, the books close. But the books is still open. Okay, so we still own the church, we still collect. All right. Okay. Someone say amen. All right. I'm counting on those gifts. Those donations. And also just, the experience of the youth yellow team, and everyone who's been affirmed throughout their career professionally, the social power of the National Black MBA Association is unmatched. People meet their husbands, they meet their wives, they meet lifelong friends, they reconnect with people they haven't seen in years. I brought a friend that's from Dallas. I live in Dallas. I brought a friend from Dallas. How do you apply the association? I gave her a free conference cover. I said, girl, come on. Like the rest. She rolled up to the first event and ran into a sister she grew up with. I was like, wow, you here? Another sister was working at in the recruiting she wanted before that she met. And then she went on a date at someone, right? And then, so the social capital of the association and its membership is huge. And so part of that is what we're going to get into next, the storyteller video group that's going to come. I don't know if you guys have attended it yet. I didn't want so much structure about that, but it's the truth. There's a video booth that's set up in the main campus on the expo. And that's a place where you can tell your story. Why you've been involved, why you're a part of this association, what excites you the most, and how has it impacted you. That's just a general question. And if you participate in that, that's going to run as part of your hearing. Maybe stories of visual appeals at the end of the year. Those stories will be a part of it. Because you know that people give to people. They also give to a relationship. And they also give to a connection. And that connection is usually through seeing their likeness represented in that. So we're hoping to. Then the last thing is there's been a Give Today to National Black MBA throughout the conference after the banner. There's always a way to give. There's always a way to give. I do want to turn our attention to revenue. I call myself the money team. Just so you guys kind of know the structure. As the CEO, I am over corporate partner team, so Paula and her fantastic team report. So Keith and Armelia are also on the team. Chandra Hayes, who many of you guys know, because she's been in Atlanta for many years. She's just got recently promoted to be our senior director, our senior manager of Atlanta. So she's working directly with me. And I want to talk a little bit later, but Chandra's just great. But in terms of revenue, there's a lot going on, and this is advanced. I would say philanthropic dollars, all those kinds. And they're made up of corporate gifts, donations, and marketing for digital appeal. These are millions, so just we are sitting roughly at 6.7 at the end of June, so we'll make your report. We still are supposed to be annual at 10.7, so there's still about 4 million left to do this June. Close. And how we're going to kind of get to that for them is through the additional corporate revenue, which was grants and gifts are part of that, marketing, and then employee retention. So there's still going to be a challenge of gap. Marsha spoke to that. So we still have much work to do, but we also know that we can do a lot with a lot of people. There's a lot of people behind this association. There's a lot of relationships that come out of this association. And we can do incredible things when we come together. So we see this as a challenge. That is a challenge. But we also see a tremendous opportunity within this challenge. Next slide. One of those revenue events or new things we're trying to do, with Henry, looking at this association, knowing conferences, what we've been known to do, but that's not always sustainable to have so much there's other things we should be trying to do. And so part of my work is identifying opportunities here. And the first one is happening in a few weeks, in October. I want you guys all who have come, especially the women's empowerment events, to pull out your phone and to go to the National Black National website, NBA. Once you get there, you'll see an events tab. Go there, little drop down, and it says I'm not yelling. Anyone who clicks on I'm not yelling, just pull down. If you click to reserve your spot today, the first person, 3 people, the first 3 people who reserve their spot show a confirmation code. Lisa and Chandra will be giving. So let me know who's done that, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it. The Black women in the workplace, especially to be extended in your career. You've been faced with multiple challenges that kind of feel like the same thing. Elizabeth Leba wrote a book called I'm Not Yelling. It's really geared back to Black women professionals. In this, she describes the microaggressions, she describes the hair, she describes passive promotion, early termination, the asserting your voice, and being more aggressive. But she also talks about the autoimmune diseases that come from stress, the lack of peer connection, because you cannot always know if they're funny over there. I want to eat, too much of us. I don't want to sit with the other Black people. I don't know if all of us can all be friends. We have those. So she wrote it all down in the book, and out of this became a partnership with a woman doing Haley trademark a year ago. It was really successful. The way to approach us about working together. People registered capital talk. Okay. If anyone's actually registered, raise your hand. Okay. We got 2. Oh, we got 3. Okay. I only got 3 gifts. We might have to get some more. I'll be happy to mail to anyone the book of I'm Not Yelling. Dwayne Haley, asked the PR girl in Atlanta, Georgia, partnered with us this week. That is going to take place Tuesday, October 8th at the Lowe's Hotel in Atlanta. It is going to be phenomenal. We are going to be bringing that peer connection, bring that sisterhood. And this is also we allow allies to come too, so brothers, you can be in the room. We have the CEO of Essence Ventures, Caroline Wonga, the Queen of Authenticity herself, to talk about owning your voice as a Black woman. We also recognize that 2024 is the year of the Black woman. Right now, the political conversation is around Black women's competency to lead on the national stage. And so Caroline will be discussing that as well. You know that Kamala gets in, which we pray she will. There might be an assault on Black women's leadership. We need to be collective across the board. This is just one of many events that's going to start happening throughout the year. Next slide. Did we get that last person who got their book? Third person. Okay. Awesome. The other thing you're gonna see then before this year closes out is our executive board. This is a very prestigious, invite-only conversation with C-suite executives that Henry is actually hosting. It's either gonna be in New York or it's gonna be in DC as December 4th or 5th, or still working out the date. This is gonna come right at the heels of the election. It's gonna be bringing together C-suite CEOs by invite only by Mr. Beacherhead, where he will be addressing kind of the current landscape moving forward. We will have a new elected president at the time. Things will shift once people get office. We will bring a public policy person. This is just a real conversation. It's kind of a forward direction. These kind of invite-only C-suite level conversations are going to start occurring on a quarterly basis out of this. The last thing is Ms. Chandra Gaines. Part of her work and what she'll be doing with the association is helping to establish an annual appeal. Chandra's the best person to do this because she knows membership well. And we also know that membership is part of how we're going to get to our goals overall, but she also knows what motivates people to become members in the association. We've already talked about this in conference giving plan, but in October we will have a chapter digital appeal. We'll have a re-engagement appeal to past membership that will go out. So those who are no longer members, we're going to have to call for them to come back to membership at a rate, as well as asking them to give to the organization. In November, we're going to do the National Giving Tuesday campaign. There'll be a CEO letter that will go out from Henry, as well as our Ways to Give website will be up. There are many ways to give. People can get to crypto, they can get to stock, they can get many ways to an organization like that. We're going to start having that roll out in November. And then in December, we're going to have our year-end campaign with the storyteller conversations that came out of conference are going to be, as well as having board members and staff call to and just thank them. Because we don't thank people. Next slide. And the last but not least is the Chicken Forum campaign. So video playing with me and talking about this $2 million challenge that's going to occur over the next 3 years. Right now, we're in what would be considered a quiet phase. We're discussing and talking to past board members. We're talking to people who like legacy leaders. We're just asking and kind of getting the barometer of where people are supporting this work. But we also know that we can't do this alone. We actually need to develop a case of support. Part of that is bringing on contracted consultants to do a feasibility study, and so with that. And these are just kind of the current priorities. But in terms of the Transform campaign overall, it's going to support LOT programs. So we use them tomorrow. They're down. It's going to support the career center, the HBCU Career Center that Henry wants to develop. And it's going to support our entrepreneurial institutes. Those are the focus programs of this challenge. You'll learn more next year about it. That's where we are. We do have the QR code back up for those persons with questions. Currently, we have a question in the QR code. Since there is a push to get to 25 million, will the National Black MBA Association stay true to what the original mission is and allow it to stay in place for us? Or will it be opened up to others? So the National Black MBA Association, in the way I understand the mission to be, is supporting Black and Brown BIPOC professionals, people who identify as Black. That will always be the mission because that's the history of what we were founded on. In terms of opening it up to others, we discussed, Caribbean in the sense that you have to have a core belief of being Black, and how you identify to be, considered a strong membership of the organization. So that will not change. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kiana. I hope a lot of you make your way from Ghana and join us for that coming. And can give some support as we see build our philanthropic capability. It is my pleasure now to introduce you all to our Chief Learning Officer, Dr. Ted Morales. Please welcome her.
That's hard to do it. No voice. This is a great week. I'm gonna try to make up time. So those of you that I have met, know that one of the things that I personally find not always reachable, you can find me on the side right over here. So if you don't get a chance to talk to me today, I appreciate it. The answer is you need to get out of the national level. All right. And let's see. So the first thing that I want to talk about briefly is that one of the things that Henry charged me with, we talked months before I joined the work, is actually launching a profit. This should be a place that no matter where you are in your career journey, that you can see there's something. So you'll see here that there are three things that, three tracks that you see. One is career, one is wealth building, one is passion. So to answer the question, ultimately, we're looking at how do we develop you as a leader, early career, right? How do we take you through a wealth building journey, starting from finance 101, the basics of high school, all the way through venture capital, right? How do we do the same in entrepreneurship? So high school maybe is intro to freelancing by the time you're maybe mid-career level age, right, or at that stage in your business. It's government contracting, it's scaling your business. It's private and leverage buyouts, right? So we actually even did some programming here and recently as opposed to back so obviously all happened this year. We're actually starting with the leadership. So those of you that were at the chapter retreat actually gave out a one-pager that shows you all the components for early career all the way to that will have both virtual and programming specifically to meet you where you are, right? Is we ask a lot of people, and the main thing that's coming up over and over again is what is for me as a professional. So 9,000 people come to conference, 700 come to programming, 8,000 come for your door. Those folks are students, looking for jobs. But what's here for me, right? So to make sure that year round, not only in curriculum but also in events, that there will be programming specific to where you are in your career. Another thing, we can go to the next slide that I want to is career status. So here actually reimagine the goal. We again heard a lot of feedback around what we doing better. I spent a lot of time thinking about in 18 years of leadership development, what have I seen, what have I been able to do, and what have I not seen that we could do that different special. So goal key would turn into career status, right? So there it actually is an entire system. A lot of components that after you complete these components, will be considered a lecture. So, in addition, our corporate partners, to our executives, at that point, we can say that we actually vouch for you. So, anyone familiar with talent view, how it works, high potential, right, in your organization, this is our version of that, right? So, you go through these components that you are ready for the So the schematic will look something like this. Go to the next slide. So we have virtual launch, we have we have 3 to 6 modules. So the modules actually the catalog of 25. You actually start to talk about those items, how you professor, you will actually receive a so in Stanford, MIT, Duke, Columbia, etc. All of them. Again, I'm sorry. University, both, yeah, both is actually. So you can go through your 3 6 week program depending on what you're interested in, where you are in your career. And throughout the academic year, you actually have unlimited executive coach for 6 months. That never happened. That never happened. I've been telling you for a long time. You have somebody you have access to, as well as professional branding. We come out with a new resume, come out with a new LinkedIn, have the executive writer writing these for you. You come out with a new one-pager in headshot. And towards the end, there's also actually another reception of the day and a half of programming, where we actually will bring speakers based on what you got. So speakers in the front and the programming. So a phenomenal 16-week program, it would not be put in part. When I think about all the things that I've been able to do in motivation development over a period of time, I've never seen this many components in one book. Some of them, not all of them. So super excited about this. We need that capability, right, for National Black for the association to say, yes, I have been through a series of steps that I can and actually share that with our corporate partners and their sponsors. These are just some highlights of some things that have happened this year. So I joined in April, right before LT for First Congress Day. So it's been a busy time. So a couple of things that I just wanted to highlight. One is our LT brought in about 200 folks right here in Washington DC, and it was an amazing time. We're actually looking. We have 126 students. We love to grow that to 200 for Nashville for next year. So super excited about that. Also, bringing Cubby, we kind of think about again leadership development, elevating where we are. We actually have a partnership underway with Frank Cubby to deliver again content to our population that's interested. They were actually here at the conference. We have to have a great conversation. CEO Frank Cubby brought Henry and I to Utah, where they are located, and said, I want to do business. I want to make sure that I show. So super excited about that as well. The other things that I want to mention we launched our executive experience for the first time. So again, it's something that we've talked about for years. We welcomed about 85 executives to have their own private conference as a pilot to see how it would go. So they got their own programming, right? Because they're not going to go to that was different than the breakout sessions. And again, we were kind of doing this collecting some feedback from those partners that are at that C2 level or below, because again, we're looking to elevate our brands and elevate that. And they have one more. He already mentioned about Young. He mentioned the 2 white papers that we have now. One thing that I'll say about that is you have some white papers, but the question is, what are we going to do? Right, that's the gap for us. Right, to post all white papers we want, but where's the action? So the Urban Institute is actually helping us write the white papers. They're actually writing them. But what you'll see come out of that over the course of the year, actual program that follows the data. So for instance, bridging wealth gap. If we see that one of the commonalities, I'm sure, is going to be that the money wealth disparities, home ownership, right? How can we make sure that people have, understand where to get the first time homeowner loans, right? They can get down payment assistance, they can get credit counseling, etc. So we partner with some of our folks to help bring that to life, right? And to share the data, we have to do something with it. Wells Fargo and well, so I'm super excited about that. The last comments is 2025 conference planning is already underway. We started about 3 months ago. We're able to have presidents from Houston, Austin, and Dallas together last week. And I had 4 people that from the chapter president all last week that said they want to help in conference planning. I have spots for 6 more. So you guys have my email address if you want to involve in conference planning for Houston for 2025. Please shoot me a note. Awesome. Oh, last thing. We are also planning a master calendar for next year. So this is just some highlights, but I've actually played them out by month. And I know this is something that you could ask for, right, to help you guys in your chapters as well. So a few of the highlights we do with LT fundraising gala in Houston, brings love to the area, sports and entertainment summit around Super Bowl in February in New Orleans. 2 AI summits, one east and one west. So we're looking at doing the first in LA around April timeframe. We've got Congresswoman Cindy Comlager that is partnered to do this with us, Meta, Google, Zillow, et cetera. So we're going to bring some nice educators for an AI summit because we're elevating programming. Yes. Yes. That's it. All right. $2 lifestyle event. Our course in July. That's right. I'm sure you guys know that this is all on your way in. And we're also actually looking to do a wellness retreat for mental health awareness month in May. Entrepreneurship curriculum, awareness, and then our executive. So you see, guys, it's a lot of new and different. I'm super excited about it, and I hope you are as well. If you guys have input, want to be involved, those clients should be, please find me. Thank you very much.
Our first question, Dr. Morales, and the QR code. What about education for truly knowing how to run a business? As a seasoned business consultant, I run across many who do not know the basics, let alone an intermediate or advanced level of what it truly takes to start, run, and sustain a great business. How do we jump to government contracts, franchising, etc., and miss these key foundational things that are essential for business longevity and sustainability?
So that was towards the end, right? So the beginning was intro to freelancing, right? And you've got kind of starting your business, business management, before we get into scaling your business, franchising, et cetera, right? So everything kind of starts in its infancy, right? With where you are in your business, the entrepreneurship curriculum is intended to grow as your business grows, right? And so this is a curriculum that I've been looking to create in-house. I'm looking to have some experts that have some phenomenal content and already has a brand in the community. So if you are that person, talk to me. Okay. Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Morales. We do have one additional question.
Sure.
How are you trying to connect the undergraduate and graduate students to get involved? What do you think about establishing National Black Community Association clubs on individual campuses?
It's a great question. So there was a point in time that there were clubs on, there were chapters on, yeah, I don't know if you guys really do. I know that Henry has a vision for that, so I'll let him speak to that. But I will tell you in terms of student programming, we do, of course, after LLT, we actually have we sponsor 100 students to come here. We will include the chapters in the selection process next year. And then, of course, we have our undergraduate and graduate curriculum. We have lots of students that are interested in quite frequently. So I imagine that we'll be able to tell us kind of what his vision is. Thank you guys so much.
I'll give a hand for a little bit of chivalry. All right. So let me try to speak a little bit to that question. I would say I have less a vision around that and more of a placeholder. The sugar pin in a placeholder. That in short would be the decision of the chapter. In the new chapter affiliation agreement, there is language that says that to the extent that there is a desire for a satellite chapter that is expressed by a university, that the chapter in that geography would have the option to determine whether or not to pull that in and support them as a part of or affiliate or satellite their chapter. If, however, they decide not to, the national organization would evaluate whether or not they can support the chapter in that. And so that's the way for now. We're just kind of putting a pin in it. It says we recognize that there is that circumstance, and we frankly had mixed feedback from the chapters in terms of how they want to handle that. So that's kind of the way that we done that, but it would sort of be the option of the chapter we take case by case. Okay, please join me in welcoming Mr. Harold Reed. He is our Vice President of Brand.
All right, all right. Go ahead. See.
Y'all put me out. This is my first conference, but I'm very excited to be here. Just want to talk about a really quick story about one of the reasons I joined. About 10 or 11 years ago, a friend of mine had just joined the NBA, and he invited me to the conference. I believe that year it was in Atlanta, and I told him I didn't want to go because I didn't feel like I would fit in, because I didn't have my MBA. So when I spoke to Henry and the opportunity came about, I said that this is a conference where everyone needs to be, regardless of if they have their MBA or not. And I wanted to help and support that, to create that bridge for anyone to come to learn, to build, to grow. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of this wonderful team and what we're doing at National Black MBA. So really excited to be here and just grateful for this opportunity. Next slide, please. All right. So I just want to talk about some key points. I am a brand champion for National Black MBA. So I want to see us win in all aspects. How we show up as individuals, how we show up as brands, how we show up as chapters. I want to make sure that is all collective and succinct and concise. So here are just some of the key ones that I'll talk about as we go through the slide. I'll be very brief. Please go to the next slide. All right, so we're gonna get our pop ready. So I have some exciting news if you haven't already heard. Jump right to the next slide. We're just gonna get right into it. The Race Continues, the documentary about the National Black MBA Association and the history of the organization. When I first came in, Henry mentioned to me, hey, we got this great documentary. I want to see it on the network. So we went out to some of our great contacts and we made it happen. Today, you can go to pbs.org and type in The Race Continues. Anywhere in the country, you will be able to see this documentary. So I'm very excited about that. I hope you are as well, that you share that with your friends, family, and everyone. When I first saw the documentary, it inspired me, and I wanted to make sure that by the time we were at the conference, that we made it all happen. And we did. Next slide. So as you can see here, we have some new gear across the board. And with the designs, we just wanted to do some things that connect to what we're doing right now, especially about Black jobs, which has been consistent.
Love it.
And also standing on business. I think that's something that we all represent, no matter what we're doing in life, right? But one of the things that we did intentionally was connect with Bridgeport High. And we do have Mr. Bridgeport in the audience. I saw him a little bit earlier. I'm tired, so my eyes are not good right now. But he was there. He is. There he is. Stand up, stand up. Bridgeport Cotton Farm is the oldest black-owned cotton farm in the U.S. About 1877.
Okay.
So instead of buying building t-shirts and putting our brand on it, we're buying from a black-owned organization. The seeds that go into the ground. These t-shirts not only be available for the conference, but we're also going to relaunch our e-commerce. So what you will see is that we will have these t-shirts available for you to purchase no matter where you are. And then what we're going to do is each quarter, we're going to switch out our styles and what we have and different logos and things of that nature, different sayings that we hope you all enjoy. But I will say that the quality of this product is very high. And this is not the t-shirt you put in the washer, it goes from an extra large to a small. This is something all the time. We just want to make sure we bring that quality to everyone across the country, and just make sure we engage in that. Additionally, we're also going to be doing some things where we celebrate our members, right? We want to provide branded boxes that have some of our gear in it, which will include some of these things, whether it's your first year, your third year, your 5 years, just celebrating those anniversaries and your commitment to National Black. So that's going to be a part of it as well. You go to the next slide. These are this slide. This design in the middle is one of my favorites. It's called Origins, which represents us being founded in Chicago and then moving headquarters to Atlanta. So that is a wonderful design that was very intentional that we created. And hopefully you got one before the membership shop shut down. If not, you'll be able to get on our e-commerce store. So we're really excited about that. But we're just excited about not only how we rebuild the apparel, but that e-commerce portion and the drop ship. So you'll be able to get it at any time. It won't be order a shirt and then 6 months later you get it. You'll get it in a week or so. So that's our goal. And we're really excited about that because we feel like we should represent the brand. You should represent the brand when you're traveling, in the airport, when you're at work, on a Captain Friday, things of that nature. But just making sure you're representing National Black NBA in the best way possible. Next slide, please. Just some quick membership updates. I shared a few earlier about the anniversary gifts. What we're also looking into is digital badging. So when you go into LinkedIn, you see that if you're from a membership perspective or certification perspective, that we have those digital badges on there. You've seen them in different forms, but what we'd like to do is have one that's coming directly from National Black NBA Association. So we're really excited about that. In addition, some online programming that helps support mentorship and career counseling. All the great things that Dr. Tan talked about, and just continue to keep that momentum. Next slide, please. Henry touched on this a little bit earlier, but just making sure that we enhance the brand of the National Black NBA. And one of the ways that we can do that is through vehicles like Black Men, right? It's about us being very proactive in terms of how we speak to the media, how we get op-eds, how we do all the things, including the related to our mission and vision statement, where we become an authority not only in economic empowerment, but also around DEI, right? We should be in the headlines with a lot of these other heavy hitters because we have a lot of brilliant folks. And we need to broadcast that in the best way possible. And that's going to be my role is to make sure that we get to the outlets like Blackly, Bloomberg, Black Enterprise, AJC, and others all across the country so we can share our voice in a positive way. Next slide, please. All right. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is making sure that we create cohesive brand standards. So with that, when I look at a website from any city, it should match how we look from a national level. So with that, we're going to provide digital brand kits that will be shared that will help to unify. So that's unify moving field across the board. I know that's something that we need, and I want to make sure that we are collaborating across the board with all of the chapters to ensure that we look and are saying the same things. One of the things that Henry mentioned during the chapter leadership component was about us connecting with some of these brands. But when we come to those brands, when it comes to the director, we need to make sure we look the same, that we're talking the same. We may have different iterations of our own, but we still become National Black. So I just want to make sure that that is going to come out in the coming months, especially going into 2025. We will have digital kits, we will have social media kits, we will have a kit that helps support the refresh of the website so that we all are cohesive. So that's it. But I'm extremely excited about everything that we're doing as a team, happy about the leadership of H. Beecher Hicks and what he's doing, and how we're all coming together to do some phenomenal things. So that's all I have, and hopefully there's no questions. If you don't ask questions, I'll find you on translate.
We do have two questions in the QR code for you. Why does the mission statement omit the term Black professional, while the vision explicitly includes it? This is a significant distinction from our association compared to broader national leadership organizations.
That's a really good question. Well, what I would say is that, of course, we went through various iterations of how we all got there in terms of the mission statement. And that was vetted through, our board and some other leaders across the board. And what we wanted to do is make sure that there was some diversity in terms of how we were, excuse me, also my thought for a second, I'm tired now. How we were showcasing what we're doing and how we're evolving as a brand. So we don't have to say Black, Black, Black in every sentence. We're the National Black MBA. So I just want to make sure in our previous mission statement, we stated our mission is, we don't have to do that. In our previous vision statement, we said our vision is, we don't have to do that. Be very concise in what we stand for. And that was the reason why we took some of that language out, because it's already built on DNAC.
All right, and we do have one additional question in the QR code. Just as a reminder, if you do have questions, please submit them in the QR code. Can you please get that back up on the screen? All right, our last question for you today is annual performance marketing helps everyone tell the story. This could add value to the organization by providing an annual state of the Black professionals print / digital publication. In the process of trying to better tell the story, are we thinking about an annual publication to be provided at each annual conference?
Yes. So we're not only thinking about just doing one for conference, we're also thinking about one as well. That's another way that we're trying to ourselves as thought leaders. So it's not just about what we do and getting to that result of, the conference and what results from that, but also making sure we have touch points throughout the year that talk about what we're doing as an organization, what chapter they're doing, and just making sure that we cascade that on a broad spectrum. Right.
Good. Okay, so we are about to go into a very brief Q&A session. I can see the wear and tear on your faces, and I know you can see it on mine. So we're not going to hold a 2-hour session, okay? As we prep to come on stage, I just want to make sure you understand we care about you. You know that, right? We've shown that during this conference. We're all working as one team. We just talked about coming to the cookout. We're a family, okay? So when we get on the stage to answer some of these questions, we want to ensure that you understand the premise before we get started. So without further ado, let me have Renee Warren, Kevin Wright, and Forrest Stewart come to the stage for the question and answer session. Okay, what questions do we have in the audience?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. Two things I want to do in terms of the context. My name is Daryl Reed. I'm one of the legacy members. I've been serving Thank you, Tammy, served as chapter president, vice president, board member, national president, and chairman of the board on the one side, but especially a marketing background, Fortune 500 companies, 100 companies. And I have concern about the reference national black. And as I talk to people outside the organization, the first question when I mention national black is national black what? And as I said, we didn't be able to answer in detail, but I would like to be addressed at a later time. And one of the most important things in marketing is your brand. Your brand represents who you are and should tell organizations, anybody who you are. Our history over the past 49 conferences, we have corporate partners out there who are locked into National Black MBA Association. I don't want to lose those people. And there are times you have to update your logo and your mission and all of that kind of stuff. But you don't want to lose the equity that you already have. So I want you to look into that and get back to even the colors of our colors used to be blue and white, and I see the green. I don't know the rationale or thought that went into developing that. If you would give me a partial answer today and let me know what you're going to do in the future to try to address those issues.
Sure. We're going to allow our wonderful president and CEO.
We're gonna do a brand study. And so we will, I think this must be, what we found, was not clear. Okay, so that's been asked a question earlier today about stage. So what we found in terms of brand standing, not clear. So one of the things that we're gonna do, and Carol and I have talked about this at some length, we're gonna do a brand study. And as a part of that, we'll come back to the board and we'll discuss any changes to the brand that may go forward. So I mean, that really is the simple answer to the question. So what she was saying is she would want the voice of the members to be heard as a part of that brand study.
Next question.
So first of all, my name is Dr. Tracy Harrell, I'm immediate past president for the Seattle chapter. I'm pretty no nonsense. I've been very impressed by what you guys have presented this today. So I just gotta say yes and thank you. But I've seen things that are like actually happening. So thank you, number one. I took lots and lots of notes, and so I just want to ask one question as it relates to that theme, affirm. What was I say? Driving excellence and empowering transformation. One ask, and I've said this probably for 25 years, and I am a success story for the Black MBA. My entire career, 25 years, has been right here. 8 years at IBM through the Black MBA, 14 years at the Disney company. Success story, but my question is, as a chapter leader, I'm the immediate past president, and I'm celebrating the past part. Not because I haven't enjoyed this experience, but as it relates to the investment of dollars. I saw less than 10% of the revenue for this national organization coming from membership fees, right? The other dollars are coming from your corporate partnership and philanthropy, et cetera. I've asked year after year after year, so I'm just asking if you can go into driving excellence and empowering transformation at a chapter level, that the chapter should be getting some percentage off the top of those corporate dollars. So can we move forward with that as it relates to driving excellence and truly empowering transformation for volunteers? That will truly empower our transformation. So yes, I'm done.
So Tracy, I think we've discussed this.
No, you just said no, and I'm saying it's a great idea, so I'm having a discussion.
So we noted the idea. So I think there are a couple of things. One is I think it's really important we are an association. Each chapter, and you all remind me of this, chapter is an independent 501c3, with the responsibility to stand up a board and operate an organization, including the fundraising associated with supporting that.
Yes.
Now, we have a responsibility and an obligation to assist. That is a part of what we have committed to. The way that we have done that is through a share of the membership revenue. The way that I have focused on it from a strategy perspective over the next year or two is to grow the membership revenue by growing the membership and increasing. So that is the first step that we take in that direction.
It's not enough, I'm just gonna say it again, it's not nearly enough, it's only 10% of your revenues. We're volunteers, but thank you for all the great work you do.
Thank you. Duly noted.
Thank you. All right, next question.
So I have a question that was repeated during the last session for marketing, but the question was, in the vision, we say Black professionals, in the mission, we say underrepresented. We can say Black professionals and underrepresented in the mission. It's still clear, we're National Black UVA, everybody knows that. But if you're gonna say it in the vision, we should also put it in the mission, because that gets plastered a lot everywhere. Regardless of if it says Black National Black UVA at all, or it doesn't, we still should put Black professionals, that's who we are. So the essence of our organization is Black professionals and not underrepresented.
Thank you so much.
Listen, go ask the question.
In brand strategy. And my initial question was around marketing research they went into, but I think you have answered it. And I would like to offer whatever assistance you think you need to make sure that the research is done around the branding, because to everyone's point and concern, it can make or break you. We know that our sister organization, Prospenica, went through a branding.
Yes.
And it did not go well.
Yes.
And we as members with vested sweat equity would like to make sure that the work that has went in over the past 50+ years do not get lost in branding, repositioning, and confusion around what our aim, where we're going. I know we're transforming, but we need to be a little bit more clear and concise about it. So I'm here and available should you need any assistance in that realm.
Thank you.
I'm sure, because of living it now, Harold, that we'd be delighted to, as we go through and look to do this brand study, and determine sort of where we're going, that we'd be delighted to include members as a part of a working group to move through that process.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And that after Angela finished with the Chicago chapter strategy work, she can have that. Absolutely. Excited to be here. Thank you guys for creating this space for us. My name is Melinda Jordan. I serve as Director for Entrepreneurship Chicago chapter. And I'm also an entrepreneur that's a global advisor for Sotheby's. And so I'm bringing up this question as my peers have so eloquently echoed here. It still feels as though entrepreneurship, where the real need is as it relates to our membership, is being missed. We understand that most of our membership, especially for entrepreneurs, first generation. So making that transition from to private equity, that's a leap for so much of our membership. And so my concern is personally that myself and others who are leading entrepreneurship efforts have not been engaged in that process to get to that point. Because many of us are first timers. We're trying to understand how do we transfer from freelance to side hustle to business. Well, we need to be understanding that we are businesses, period, however we got there. And how do we silo the expertise and subject matter experts in this space within entrepreneurship? So I'm struggling with the idea that we are still underserving entrepreneurs when people have redefined what entrepreneurship looks like. So my plea is, how are we going to be better stewards of meeting our membership and our future membership where they are versus what we see to be what's glorified about what entrepreneurship is?
So I would I think that Dr. Ted and the team and I agree that we are not doing enough about and with inform and support of entrepreneurs. So let me say that very clearly. I think that what we were trying to do was really abbreviate a much longer thought process. So maybe for the purposes of this conversation today. So I think one of the things that we can certainly do at some point in the near future, and one of the things that we are committed to doing is town hall meetings twice a year at least. So maybe one of the things that we can do in one of the next town hall meetings is have a longer conversation about entrepreneurship, where we will share what we're facing in terms of what the needs are, in terms of where you are developmentally as an entrepreneur, where you are in terms of the demographic groups that we've identified on entrepreneurship. To have a longer conversation around that, and conversation means that it is a two-way street, to make sure that what we are thinking about will better meet the needs. So that's something that we can do to make sure that we share more fully and heard more fully what you all are interested in.
Microphone.
So if something you want to share, feel free. If you could make your way to, I think they've taken the microphones. Maybe we'll take 3 more questions.
So I'd like to add just a little bit to the answer to.
All right now.
I had a conversation.
You don't come with your hands.
So just a few of them, just a handful.
What do you say? What was the question?
What is it? I'm sorry, I called it. Maybe you didn't think it pertained. So I had a conversation with Calvin West Jr., who leads East Shop Capital. You may have heard of East Shop Capital. He happens to be the largest Black investor within foreign workers, largest Black fund within foreign workers. One of the challenges I think that we face is that we don't recognize that we are at a place where we can take advantage of venture capital. We are entrepreneurs that maybe don't understand the process such that we could actually play in the game. So one of the things that I will be providing along this sort of track is an understanding that even where you sit today as entrepreneurs, as early entrepreneurs, where we sit today is we can get in that game. And I don't think that we've covered that in prior MBAs and in prior National Black MBA conferences. So I think there's an opportunity for all of us to understand from where we sit today, how we actually partake and play in the venture and private equity game. And so I think I had a conversation already about how some of the eyes glazed over the room as the conversation got more sophisticated for the language, such as private equity. But we'll also have a venture conversation such that we can talk about dollars, pooling dollars with entrepreneurs where you are today. Be able to take investment as a smaller entrepreneur, as a smaller project, such that you understand where you can play today and where you can look at playing tomorrow. So it follows you the full life cycle of being an entrepreneur. So I think it's really a question of understanding how we can play in venture and private equity. And so maybe we start off with sort of base knowledge, understanding accurate how we actually participate in order to see the vision of how we play in the game of private equity throughout the life cycle. I apologize if I wasn't very, very clear, but I'm happy to have a good conversation. Maybe we work at it. How much?
Next question, we got the last 3 people standing, so.
Yes,
Renee
from Chicago.
Yes! Woo!
We'll be able to see more national in Chicago. I have a question. We've had 2 iterations of the foundation. I know my friend Mark Bostic was one of the last leaders of the foundation. I know there's an effort to look at other ways of raising funds. Again, understanding the challenges of having an association and a foundation, like you're not the boss of me, but setting guidelines and build a specific MOU. Just wondering whether there would be some thought about reestablishing the foundation
and utilizing some of the College Accommodation Act that the association doesn't have. And if there is, of course, an interest to do that, I've already done on that, they can stand no critique, but this one.
Sure, so I'd be pleased to have that conversation with you, Greg or Lynn, David. One of the things that's unique about our association is that we are a C3, and many associations are not. And so, given that we are a C3, based on my knowledge, which may be incomplete, I'm not sure I understand why we would need a separate foundation. But if I'm mistaken, then again, we can have that conversation. That's the reason why it was not at the top of the list. Is that we're already a C3, so we can do the same kind of fundraising. We contribute to our association in most ways and could.
I believe we've got one more spot for questions.
Okay. Yes. Rashida Frazier here. How you all doing? Y'all look amazing, by the way, and I appreciate everything that National Black does. I truly do. I'm from the New York chapter. I think we have the best chapter inside of everyone. And I think, what can I say? I'm New York. So, well, we'll see. I'm next. But one of the things that I struggle with, and I'm a part of a lot of organizations, is when do we get past talking and actually get to implementation, actionable things that are now being put out? What is the timeline? If we're only talking twice a year, then how, from a project management standpoint, just think about it. You gotta talk about it, and then you have to put the pen in place, and then you have to put it into action. But we're talking about twice a year, we're gonna have conversations, more specifically, at least for me, like a lot of others, is around entrepreneurship. When do we start doing it? There are a lot of us in the membership who have expertise, even though we may not be with the Cisco's or the Morgan Stanleys of the world of this. I've been doing this for almost 25 years. But no one thinks to look inside of the membership and actually tell us.
Say it again, girl.
Or anything to
Say it.
We can help you help our membership.
Yes.
We want to do that. But y'all are always looking at corporate sponsors and those educational institutions when a lot of us were educated at these institutions and we probably teach running around people.
Yes.
What we know as Black people, what we can do for us. Thank you. I
will say the first part of that is, I've been with the organization over 20 years, and I will say that I think one of the biggest issues we have is communication. Because the very things that she just mentioned, we've had in this conference for years. We can't tap all 9,000 attendees to have a conversation around some of the programming changes and some of those things that become light bulb items for most of us, because we are all very passionate about the organization. We do have focus groups. We have used the focus groups to inform our conference our conference planning. So we have had those things. I just think that sometimes we may not communicate them as well, and we will do a much better job of that. Tapping inside, I'll let the team here respond as well, but I'll also say that we have tapped many members, even our businesses, internal to the organization to support us. So without question, we do it. I think we just fail to communicate it.
Well, and so I am struggling with not taking offense at the team, the staff, and this board for several reasons. One, just talk about action. In the last 10 months, we have revised the bylaws, put out a chapter affiliation agreement, and drafted and have approved a strategic plan. Those are things that each would typically take more than a year to do. And we've gotten them, that's action.
I gotta get
Monthly, members of the staff have formal calls with chapter leadership around the country. And I have personally been on more than one call with chapter leaders until 10 and 11 o'clock at night, discussing issues, challenges, questions, and answers. In addition, now that the strategic plan is adopted, one of the things that I will do, that we will do, and I've already discussed this with the staff, is that those objectives, when we will ultimately, we'll also share in the next month or two, we'll share a summary of the strategic plan with all of us. You all can see what that plan is in some more detail. But one of the things that we will do, and one of the things that's in that strategic plan, is those objectives have goals. Those goals have strategies. Those strategies have measures. And so the way that I am leading this team is one that will be held accountable to achieving and making progress against that strategic. The people who will hold that group of people accountable is me. The people who will hold me accountable is this board. And ultimately, the people who will hold this board accountable is you. But we are having conversation with the membership, with the leaders amongst the membership on a regular basis. And I think we ought to be giving this group, the staff and the board, a big hand.
I gotta tell the truth. That is so true. That is true. There's been some work. Some more is needed, but there has been work. There has been some work.
Okay, two. I said we had one slot there. We just took it. Okay, all right. 2 seconds. A minute each. Let's go.
Yep.
So, I'm Pam Rich Wheeler, a past president of the Philadelphia chapter.
Okay.
Also, I have my youngest daughter with the Leads of Tomorrow program and was one of the champions for the established Leads of Tomorrow when I was in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So, big history there, dedicated to an organization. First, I want to say, because I have an organization for entrepreneurship and social enterprise, I'd be glad to serve on the big entrepreneurial institutions. That's the first thing. Pass that one. Dr. Ted, but as a person who's been involved with the organization since the 90s, I would say that I have some concern in regards to, obviously I'm concerned about our candidates that are coming along, that want opportunities and, want to connect with the organizations. So when I hear that people join, come in and then it drops off, after the conference, I would like to know if statistically, are we tracking the career placement opportunities for the people of color that apply for the opportunities on the board versus others? That's my question.
So the short answer to that question is that not very well. It's not all, but not very well. There's a reason for it, and we have taken some steps to correct it. The primary reason for it is that historically it has not been required it has not been required of the corporate partners to report data back to the association after the conference. And when we've asked for it, most of the time they demur to tell, they don't want to tell us to have an official record of sort of what they've done. Maybe there's some HR related privacy-ish matters. And not everybody reports. So as a result, it's made it very difficult for us to do that. However, one of the things that we did place in the new contract this year was a requirement for the corporate partners to give us that kind of data back. So that this is the first year.
Another example of action. Thank you. One
My name is Brent Williams. Hi, family.
Hello.
Paul, on November 12th, 2021, first year of my president, you called me and dropped the angel island in my lap that empowers entrepreneurs and educates accredited individuals in this organization. And for 3 years, the Detroit chapter with Dallas, San Francisco, Memphis, DC, New York, I promise, have carried that torch and educated over 58 accredited persons in this national organization. That's work for 3 years culminated into Henry's PE session on Wednesday. These are baby steps, because we're not ready. All right, our entrepreneurs are not ready. The New York chapter has been leading an entrepreneurship accelerator institute for years, preparing entrepreneurs to be ready for capital infusion. The people on the stage do not deserve the ire that I just heard, because they empowered a group of presidents to empower their members, to get them ready to have venture capitalists and private equity on stage. Because Henry put me on stage with $1 billion on Wednesday for y'all. Now, I didn't get up here to say that. But that's how I felt. Because I spent the last 3 years toiling and begging y'all to realize that y'all are educated and accredited to run these businesses that are your dreams. Now, the glaze over. That's why I stood up. The glaze over, yes, ma'am. The glaze over was, when I looked at the audience, when I was on that stage, I saw how not ready we were. And that's what the glaze over was. We weren't ready. And I constantly kept asking the speakers on that panel to come up with a glossary of terms so we can stop glazing over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. To take place in here, and we're about to celebrate the chapters of their amazing work in their communities. But before we do that, we have a board member who has been with us, served his 9 years on the board, and he is rolling off. And I will tell you, it is with tears that I feel that this board member recognize him on behalf of the National Black NBA Board of Directors. Oris Stewart, come on up to the stage.
Oris.
Well, first of all, I would just say my relationship with the Black NBA started in Houston in 1989. I think some of you may not have been born. I walked up and said, "Lead up," and then they checked it out. And that's why and so Black NBA was then. That's the reason I ever do that. Thank you. And when I think about where we're headed, we're understanding the ones that are representing, the ones who are yet to come, this amazing leadership team. I'm looking forward to going off the ground. So,
yes.
Opportunity to recognize a board member last year who has really contributed to this organization in more than one way. You had an opportunity to hear from her today on stage, and so you know her history, you know her profile. She has lived.
What? What? Oh! Woo! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Wow. First of all, thank you guys. I love y'all. Y'all know that. That's who I am. And y'all heard my story today at lunch. And people came up and they said, that was so authentic. I was so inspired. I was so touched because it was real. It was from the heart. Okay. This organization has been so much to me. And I was around friends, mentors. I'm a course. I could never give that to the National Black NBA what he has given to me. And so I'm just so grateful and so thankful. And for anybody who knows, I am always cold. And so this is gonna help me. I'm very excited. And but I'm not going far. I will be around, I'll continue to do conferences, I'm gonna be on committees, I'm always calling Henry, and I hope that I will continue to do that. Thank you so much.
We'll bring up Aaron Mitchell, who is going to take us through the process of celebration.
Hi, I'm Brittany. It is my privilege to recognize our Tier 1 and Tier 2 chapters with the membership awards for membership growth and membership retention. The membership award for growth rate is awarded to the chapter that has realized growth of 30. As multiple chapters are able to achieve this, we recognize the chapter with the highest percentage of growth year over year. With awarded amounts, which comes to the stage and allow comes to time to have chair. We ask that all other photos take place at the program are shown on schedule. The membership award for growth rate goes to the Philadelphia chapter. The membership award for growth rate Tier 2 goes to the Greater Maryland. Congratulations to the Philadelphia, Maryland chapter. The membership award for retention rate is awarded to the chapter that has retained 70% of its members, in addition to consistent membership growth year over year. The membership award for retention rate Tier 1 goes to the Atlanta chapter. membership award for retention rate tier 2 goes to the Greater Maryland chapter. Chapter, Greater Maryland chapter. The Members' Choice Award is a prestigious recognition presented to the chapter that exemplifies outstanding service and commitment to its community members. This award celebrates chapters that excel in the following areas: community engagement, membership support and development, inclusivity and diversity, innovation and creativity, and impact and outcome. This award honors the chapter for setting a benchmark for excellence and inspiring others. The Membership Choice Award, Tier 1 goes to the Atlanta chapter. The Members' Choice Award, Tier 2, goes to the St. Louis chapter. Congratulations to the Atlanta and St. Louis chapter. We also would like special recognition, so please, if you have been a member for 10 years, stand up. 10-year member. Now, please welcome Chief Learning Officer Dr. Tamara Rowley and Senior Manager of Development, Chandra Daniels, for the announcement of the Channel Awards.
It's now time to present the 2024 Channel Award winners to our local chapters. Awarded to recognize National Black Community chapters that have duly demonstrated excellence in their respective regions. But these prestigious awards are based on performance criteria set by the national. This performance is tracked and measured by the balanced scorecard for 6 areas being evaluated. This includes chapter governance, local channel programming, leadership tomorrow, fund development, membership growth and retention, and succession, all of which are critical to the health and long-term viability. There will be 2 awards for each category, as we recognize Tier 1 and Tier 2 chapters. Tier 1 includes our mega and large chapters. Tier 2 includes our medium, small, and extra. At this time, we are pleased to recognize chapters that excel in these periods before a calendar year. As we announce the winning chapters, if you are present, please send representatives of your local chapter leadership team to the stage to accept the award. As mentioned earlier, you will pause for a photo, and we'll take additional photos.
First, the Education Channel Award. The Education Channel Award is provided to the chapter that develops members' capacity for learning to improve their ability to absorb and apply knowledge, and to increase student members' drive to compete academically. This year's recipient of the Education Channel Award, Tier 1, goes to Dallas.
Yes. Yes.
This year's recipient of Education Channel Award, Tier 2, goes to Memphis. Congratulations to Dallas and Memphis. Next is Career Channel Award. The Career Channel Award is given to the chapter that demonstrates programming to improve members' ability to find jobs and advance in their careers, increase member desire to acquire new skills and competencies, and provide access to professional development opportunities that make members more competitive. This year, Career Channel Award goes to, for Tier 1, Philadelphia!
Woo! Yes!
This year, Career Channel Award Tier 2 goes to Tier 2, this year award goes to Rainer Miller. Next, we have the Entrepreneurship Channel Award. This award goes to the chapter that implements programs that help our members gain financial knowledge, independence, as well as improve credit and capital opportunities. This year's recipient for Entrepreneur Channel Award in Tier 1 goes to Charlotte.
Whoa! Somebody better hold that down. Oh my goodness.
This year's recipient for Entrepreneur Channel for Tier 2
Oh,
goes
amazing.
to
Good job. Congratulations. Oh! Yes! Yes! Right now.
To Jennifer Ford and Charlotte. Going over to Leadership Channel Award, it's provided to the chapter that develops members' ability to lead, to be effective in groups and organizations where they work, improve member capacity to successful utilize skills and resources to achieve outcomes and stimulate members drive to face and navigate changes. This year, recipient for Leadership Channel Award goes to my pleasure to say, Rosa!
Yes.
This year, the Leadership Channel Award for Tier 2 goes to my hometown, Detroit.
Oh! Yes. All right now. Yes. Woo! Yes. Yes, yes.
channel award, excuse me. The final channel award is the Lifestyle Channel Award. The Lifestyle Channel Award is provided to the chapter that provides members with a community of network and support, while exposing their member tools and experiences that stimulate personal growth and development, increasing access to enrichment that provides impact for the quality of life for their members. This year, the recipient of Lifestyle Channel Award for Tier 1 goes to, everyone know, New York!
Yes.
This year's recipient of Lifestyle Channel Award for Tier 2 goes to one of our relatively new chapter presidents, Austin Avenue.
Yes.
The Grammy. So congratulations to New York and Austin chapter. The next award, thank you. The next award goes to the LT chapter of the year. This award is a chapter that demonstrates exceptional implementation of policies and commitment to our kids, the Leaders of Tomorrow program. This year, Atlanta chapter in Tier 1 for this year, chapter is in Tier 1, LT chapter of the year. Travis Townsend, Chantel White, and Director Taisha Miller at the cake competition in honor. So this year, Dayton chapter
is the Tier 2 LT Chapter of the Year. It's like the National Black NBA. Congratulations to this year, chapter of the year is awarded to the chapter that demonstrates excellence through programming in all channels, membership growth, and meeting and exceeding national headquarters reporting requirements. Again, we will recognize 2 chapters of this award identified as Tier 1 and Tier 2. This year, the chapter of the year for Tier 1 is Atlanta, Georgia!
Big rounds. All of us. All of us doing what we do.
We would like to recognize the Tier 2 channel year for Tier 2 goes to chapter, I'm sorry.
She said one of us.
Congratulations to Atlanta. So Tier 2, the chapter of the year goes to Detroit.
No! Yes! 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 Yes!
the Detroit chapter, for our final award, we recognize the chapter president of the year as voted on by our members. This award recognizes the chapter president that amplifies the vision, the mission of National Black NBA through the development of future leaders within the organization and more broadly within the community. They show a commitment to the principles that build the leadership that fosters the environment for life learning and demonstrates a high standard of ethics and personal and organization. I would like to announce the winners for both tiers in a consecutive order, after which time they will come up and provide brief remarks. I said brief. This year, I am honored to announce Tyrone Ellis and
Yes, Mr. President. Yes.
for tier 2, I would like to announce Mrs. Campbell. So we're going to take a few minutes and allow remarks from both presidents from tier 1 and tier 2.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, an honor to be recognized this year as a chapter, like I said, the president of the year, especially when I do the great presidents and all the time, all the leaders put in. So I certainly appreciate the recognition. The Charlotte chapter is strong. We are going extremely well. We were selected as the official partner by the city of Charlotte. Black businesses for this is my last year as president. I continue to run the team there. And I roll off in January 1st. I'm excited about where we are and supporting the team with a different perspective as our VP of administration, Cynthia Little, who's in the crowd, and taking over as president. Sean, this has been through all right, now I'm going to hand it over to
Also, like, thank you, because this is a huge honor. I didn't expect it, especially my last year, the 6th and last year.
See?
But I really want to thank our board chair, Jason, all of our board members we have from Memphis, all the board members. I want to thank the leaders like Catherine Roth, Bruce Thompson this week. I mean, please, we can give it up for our
Yes.
discussions. They have poured into us day in, day out.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you stand on your shoulders, so I appreciate it. I couldn't be here without my team. All those ladies here, tell me what to do. But I would like to say, if I can have a few seconds. I'm here for people like Keith Cummings. He's a member of our chapter. He's from Tupelo, Mississippi. Had no degree. He moves to Memphis. He works for Bank of America. He makes his way through their program. Goes to the home ECU in Memphis. He gets his MBA. He comes to one of our events during the holiday party. He asked me what he could do. And I said, brother, see all those ladies walking around? I need more practice. Last year, he called me up and said, brother, I'm coming to the Black MBA and I'm volunteering for the whole week of the city. I cannot believe it. He saw everything. He saw how this organization worked. He began joining our boards and positions as we were trying to get people involved coming back from COVID. And I am sad to say, but also happy that in July, he said, I have been promoted now to senior vice president.
Nice.
That's the story of all of us. Please continue to do that. We said it before, impact, we said it before, exposure. Thank you, Black excellence. Thank you. We are Black UVA. Thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations to both chapters. Before I bring Leslie up on stage real quick to go off, I want to say this is my last year last year in the role of chapter development. But I just want to thank every single leader, every single chapter president for helping me help the members. And thank you so much. Give it up for our winners one more time.
Yes.
So I'm gonna rush myself off. But you guys did a great job. Now, hey, we acted like family and membership we did.
Yes.
We did it. Now, listen, I took really good notes. So if you volunteer for anything, reach out to these individuals, sign up, raise your hand so that we can get you involved, okay? Next membership meeting now, if you did not get with this team, and I want to ask the question, I'm busting you out. Just so you know, okay? All right, real quick, congratulations to all of our winners, congratulations to you. Here's this long, I know you're tired, I can see it on your faces, but we've got just a few more things to do real quick. We've got to have choice, and so who loves barbecue seafood and all that?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, we are headed to, they told me, H-Town! Woo! We want to bring up one second part of it for y'all to wrap up. The passing of the torch symbolizes not just the passing of the conference from one city to the next, but the acknowledgement and knowledge and lessons learned from one hand to another. As an organization, we remain agile, pivoting our conference model to adjust our members' needs, rethinking our content, expanding our digital footprint, and acclimating to a virtual world at a moment's notice are just some of the superpowers we possess, we possess. This torch symbolizes the history, pride, and strength that empowers each chapter to continue the National Black NBA's mission. As we begin passing of the torch, I ask our City Host chapter, Washington DC chapter president Carletta Hurd, to come to the stage and pass the torch to Houston chapter, Marcus.
Good afternoon, good evening, thank you for all being here. Almost a year ago, I stood in front of you, nervously excited about being the host chapter for the 46th Annual National Conference. And today I stand overjoyed with excitement.
See.
From our chapter bucket reception to the throwback to the Beauty Soul Child, the Wood Beauty Smith, inspiration from years. And Will act as creative energy, and also Jamie Diamond giving us some true jewels. I think we did all right. What do you think?
Yes.
However, we understand the power of the people, and you are. Thank you to the DC Chapter Boards, DC Chapter Conference Host Committee, the National Office, and the National Board of Directors. Everything we have done this week that you have experienced was made possible because of the collective, not one individual. Now, in the words of one great woman who was soon to be, now, as I am with you, said, we cannot go back. I will see you in Houston.
See. All right, man. We cannot go back.
Good afternoon. Come on, hello. As you can see, my voice is not there either, I can tell you, but we gonna see it through. All right. Let me get to this. As has already been mentioned, I am Marcus Franklin, and I'm the president of the Houston chapter. And Houston is excited to welcome the 47th annual conference and exposition as we plan to transform your lives and career. Houston is a global city that has been at the forefront of some of the biggest advances in our time. Home to several Fortune 500 companies, Houston is ready to embrace the next leaders and change makers of our generation. Thank you to the DC chapter, Dr. Carletta Hurd, and you wonderful individuals in the room for an amazing conference this year. Houston is ready to build upon that momentum to prove that the National Black NBA Association is the premier Black professional organization. Thank you.
Okay. So, hey, listen, we're about to adjourn the meeting. I want to say thanks for everything. So, one, we could not do any of this without the staff. I want to say thank you to our chapter leadership. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
Thank you to our leaders.
Yes. Woo! Yes.
Thank you to the former CEOs that sit in the audience. One happens to be my mentor.
Jesse!
Special thanks to my mother who is not here, passed away in 2019, but I would be remiss if I did not say thank you for this moment. Thank you to Tom Brown and Vice President Morris Bunny. And you can both just stand real quick.
days, the entire week, I know I've been extra. But it was an amazing conference. It was my very first conference. I know most of you know my story. Started out as January 1st, and January 4th was diagnosed with cancer. And this is my life. And so, outside of my family and God, I can't thank you enough for all the support, all the phone calls, all the messages that I received. And it was very secretive. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be the chairman of the board for the 2024 46th annual conference.
Yes! Woo! Yes! Yes! Yes!
And now everything that you want to hear in the next statement that I'm about to make, this meeting is now adjourned.
Yes! That's what was on next.